WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, X, and our website, www.wvtcdetroit.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users.
This is
Soulful Inspiration.
It's your girl, Nikki Jones. This will be an hour to feed your soul with music and laughter, information and inspiration. You're listening to WVTC
Detroit.
All designed with you in mind. So sit back, relax, and get ready to join the conversation with me,
Nikki Jones.
Soulful.
Soulful Inspiration.
Inspirations. Yes, sir. Good evening, and welcome to Soulful Inspirations. I am your girl, Nikki Jones. What's going down? What is going on, Detroit? It is a beautiful day. I'm telling you, it was almost a perfect day. The weather outside was perfect today. It was just perfect. It really was. I think it was perfect. It was perfect for me. So listen, I am just glad to be here, and you are listening to us on WVTC Detroit, where we are winning victory through Christ. Yes. You're listening to... Y'all know what we saying. Y'all know how we do it. You know how we do it. We are winning victory through Christ. It is through Christ. And that is the operative word there. Okay. It's through him. It is not of our own. It's not of our own good. Okay. It is not because we've done everything right. It is not because we are so perfect. It is all through Christ, okay, and through his sacrifice and through his power, through the power in his blood. I'm just telling you, I'm excited to be here tonight, and I am excited because I have my co-host with me tonight. What? Yes, what? The beautiful, the wonderful, the anointed, the blessed, and the woman in red on tonight. Yes, Pastor Denise Thomas. How you doing?
Hey, we wonderful.
Yes,
excellent.
Absolutely.
I don't agree that it was a perfect day because I could have stood a little more heat. You
wanted some more heat.
I got that California thing.
Oh,
going.
you got okay.
Yeah,
She's a California girl.
Yeah. But I'll take it for Michigan. It's good. It's good for Michigan.
For me, it was a perfect day for Michigan because it wasn't too hot and it wasn't too cold. Like I can still be outside without my jacket on, but it was some sun and
you
it was
enough. Put it on now though.
On the way out of here, I'm gonna need my jacket.
Yeah,
That's what you're trying to say. I'm gonna need my jacket on the way out of here. I am excited tonight. I wanted to just have a great discussion about this movie that I saw over the weekend, and so I'm sure some of you have seen it as well. And if you saw my post earlier on Facebook, we're going to be talking about the movie The Forge tonight. Okay, we're going to just have a general discussion about it. No, we're not talking about the deliverance. Okay, we're not talking about deliverance. Okay. We are not talking about deliverance. We're only talking about The Forge, okay?
And even if you did, the bottom line is everybody had their own interpretation. Why we jump on everybody because they believe different than we believe? Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
Oh.
People can believe what they want to believe. Why do we feel?
And everybody at their own level. Everybody got their own soul salvation that they working with their own fear and trembling. Okay, now if you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it.
End of story. End of story.
Period. And that is the views expressly expressed by Nikki Jones and Pastor Denise Thomas.
That's right.
Period. Okay, so don't be saying that anybody else said anything else. That is it. Okay, and that's all we got to say about that. Now, are we gonna have some music tonight? We're gonna play some music. Okay, we're gonna play some music first, and then when we come back, we're gonna start talking about The Forge. Okay, The Forge. Thank you.
Come on, put your hands together all over the building. Yes, he did. You can't do it by yourself. Yay! Come on. What did he say? I am the first. Yeah.
That's the song for the day.
That's the song today.
I am. Listen,
Yes,
he said, I am that I am. And that is all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know. I'm all the things
just
that you
stand
need
still
him to
and
be.
know that I am.
That's all you need. Huh? That's all. Just stand still and know that I am God. That is a wonderful song. And that rendition was by one choir, but it was originally recorded by the Tri-City Singers, directed by none other than Donald Lawrence. And that man, I'm telling you, wrote that whole album, Bible Stories. That whole album is just a beast with Daryl Coley on it and Kevin Bond as the musician and a producer. I mean, it was just an amazing collection of songs. And they're all talking about different stories in the Bible. So if you want to get a good album where you ain't got to switch, you ain't got to skip over no songs, that's a good one. Okay. Donald Lawrence and Tri-City Singers, Bible Stories. Okay. Came out in the 90s, but I'm telling you, that was like one of the best ones. Yes. It did. Yeah, that was the original soloist, Teresa. That was the original soloist. She was a guest, I believe, with that particular choir that we just watched. But that is the original soloist. Her name is Muriel, if I'm not mistaken, Muriel. So, but yeah, she's one of the original Tri-City Singers, and she was the original soloist on the song. So if you look at the video, that's still her singing. The video from Bible Stories. Yes, I got it on VHS.
Oh yeah, you got it.
Yes, that's going way back.
What you playing on?
Nothing. It's in a box. It's in a box right now. I don't know what to do with it. It's like it might be, I don't know, it might be worth something later on. I don't know.
Okay.
So
I'm like, how you play it?
Well, there are some still floating around in the country somewhere, I'm sure, because they can still, transfer them for you. So
that's right. That's right. They can't transfer no 8 tracks though.
No, they can't transfer no 8 tracks, but somebody got an 8-track player somewhere. Oh, they can? Some places can. Some places can. That's what our producer is saying. So anyway, so you saw the movie, right? Forge, The Forge. I saw it. I saw it with my son this weekend, and we both enjoyed it. And I was pleasantly surprised. And the reason I say I was pleasantly surprised is because it was not what I was expecting when I heard The Forge. I don't know. When I heard The Forge, I was thinking it was about medieval, I didn't read the
you didn't see any previews or anything?
I didn't see any previews or anything. Okay. So I just saw people talking about The Forge, and I was like, okay, well, so maybe something medieval is going to be, you know what I'm saying? Because The Forge, I'm thinking, forging swords and stuff like that. So that was actually in the movie. Okay. The sword, what I'm saying?
That had significance.
It had some significance, right? But I didn't know what to expect. So I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised, and it was a really good movie. It had a good message. I chuckled, a few times and everything like that. And then I realized at the end of the movie that these are the same producers of the other movie that I saw, War Room. Yeah, and Firehouse. And so they're all the same. The Kendrick brothers is who they're called. And so these brothers have been doing movies now for 10 or 15 years. And I don't know. I mean, I just think they're on a roll right now. I think they're on a roll in terms of movies that can be on the big screen like that and have good content and a good message and not be ratchet, but that wasn't the word I was looking for. Not be overly spiritual, and I hate to say it that way, but over the heads of spiritual people. Put it that way. Like for me, I think a non-believer, an unbeliever can watch this movie and still get something out of it and not feel like it was just about being a Christian. It is about being a Christian, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, the storyline is a life storyline,
right?
It's a life storyline. But there's
life lessons in the story that, to me, are just as valuable to a person who is a non-believer, but it will still evangelize them. You know what I'm saying? Like some movies, I think they just kind of go overboard.
So basically, you're saying you think some movies are too preachy.
Yes.
Okay, and that's why I said this had a life. Line. So it dealt with life.
Yes.
And then it brought in the Christian.
Yes. And then at the end, it brought it, it had life experience. It had something that you can apply. It showed some application of the word and not just believing and not just the faith aspect of it, but it showed more application. What do you think?
I agree. I think that because of the time that we're living in, the person that appreciates the movie more than anybody is a Christian mother.
Yeah.
That's raising a son by herself. And that's my testimony. A teenager.
Yeah.
Ian still
Hello.
got a little way to go.
I can't tell. I mean, he got a long way to go, but
yeah, but when they're old enough to start making life application of everything that you've taught them.
Yes.
And so you, as a parent, you sit back and you wonder, have I done a good job?
Yeah.
And you base that upon what they do with their lives and if they're successful. And so in this particular case, we know that the mother did all she could.
Yeah.
And despite that, sometimes your child does not go down the right path. We have that in the Bible, the prodigal son.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's hard because you end up feeling guilty. You question whether you did everything right.
Yes.
If you could have did more.
Yes.
You hold yourself responsible for how they turn out. And I think that's one of the things that was going on in this situation. Statistically, there's about 15 million single mother homes in the United States.
Woo.
Over 15 million. Now that number is down. It peaked in 2012.
Wow.
It's less now, but you think over 15 million, and all of them aren't Christians. We know that. We got some homes where the kids can smoke pot in the same house with their parents, smoke with their parents.
And their girlfriend and boyfriend can move in.
Yeah, and can move in. We're not talking about those kind of homes. We're talking about Christian homes where a mother by herself has tried to raise a son in the fear and admonition of the Lord. And it can be challenged. More than 80% of the households in the United States are led by single mothers.
Yes.
And so that's a war cry,
Yeah. Say that again. You said 80, not 18.
80, more than 80% of single parent households in the United States are led by single women.
Yes.
So there are some that are led by single men,
yes.
But predominantly by single women. And so it's challenging because that whole mentoring piece
yes.
is so important if you're raising a son.
Yes.
As a mother, because I can tell you how to wash your drawers and wash your socks and all that, but I can't teach you how to be a man.
Right.
And so that mentoring part is very important. Years ago when my son was small, the Paul Robeson Academy, the principal at that time was Ray Johnson, and he was trying to build a school for at-risk Black males. Mm-hmm. And the ACLU fought him on that. They refused to allow it. And so what he did to get around that, he created all male classrooms with all male teachers. And I'm telling you, it changed my son's life.
Wow.
They took these young boys under their wing and mentored them, much like we saw in the Forge. My son, they started sending him home with sheets of algebra at second grade, third grade. And they said, because he can do it. And sure enough, he mastered math and science because of that. So my thoughts are that if you can find a mentor to help you, if you're a single mother, Christian mother, and you can find a mentor, you need it so much.
Absolutely.
You need it so much.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're talking about the movie The Forge by the Kendrick brothers. And it is out right now. It's in theaters right now. I highly encourage you to go watch it, to go see it, take your family. It is a family movie. Anybody can go see this movie. It doesn't matter what your age is. Anyone can go see this movie and get something out of it. There are real life lessons being on display in this movie. And that's what I appreciated about it most. I'm just going to read this little excerpt from the Kendrick brothers website. It says, Isaiah Wright, and he is the main character in the story. He has some growing up to do. A year out of high school with no plans for his future, Isaiah is challenged by his single mom and a successful businessman to start charting a better course for his life. Through the prayers of his mother and biblical discipleship from his new mentor, Isaiah begins to discover God's purpose for his life is so much more than he could hope or imagine. From the Kendrick brothers, the creators of the #1 hit War Room, comes The Forge, a faith-filled new movie with old friends and inspiring new twists. And I did like the twists in this movie. I liked how, of course, these are spoiler alerts. So if you haven't seen the movie,
Turn the channel.
don't change the channel. Go see the movie, even though you about to hear some things. You about to hear a little bit about some scenes. So it's some spoiler alerts right here. But yeah, so like the scene where he's, where the truck he's at, the truck is opening, and then boom, he's faced with his father, right?
Yeah.
That was man, you talking about somebody crying crocodile tears. Did you cry?
I did not cry.
Oh my God.
I think one of the things so concerning the father, the movie ended on positive throughout the entire. I think it ended on a positive note.
I think so too.
I think it's interesting that they did not allow him to reconcile with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you think about that, why do you think they left that one thing open-ended?
Well, they did show, did you see the post-credit scene? Did you see the post-credit scene?
Yeah.
So he did get the text message from his father saying, "Can we talk?" So they kind of left it open, but they left the ball back in his court, back in young Isaiah's court, as opposed to,
showing kind of reconcile.
Yeah,
I feel like they left it like that because the one message, many things in life we will be able to see reconcile. There will be those that we are unable, so
to reconcile with.
That there may be a parent. We can look at Kurt Franklin's life.
Yeah,
Kurt Franklin has made a decision. I will not have anything to do with my mom until she could be honest with me.
Yeah. So
I think that those things need to be out there so that people can, not harbor hatred, or they can let it go. It's some things that's just not going to be fixed.
Yeah, and that's okay.
And I think that's the message.
Yeah,
the message that was there is that maybe he won't have a relationship with his dad.
It's a process.
But his life, he won't have a relationship with his dad. But his life got on track, and he's going to be successful. You know. So
yes, and even him showing back up at the coffee shop, I thought was amazing. Him going back
maturity.
to
Showed real maturity.
Him going back
real
to the
maturity.
coffee shop. That would be cool, Teresa, a sequel. That would be cool. Him going back to the coffee shop and apologizing to the owner of the coffee shop, and then walking out of there, because he went in there for that particular purpose, not really to, the first time he went in for the girl, you know what I'm saying? But when he went back in, he said what he had to say. And then as a man who had done what he needed to do, and sought forgiveness, he walked away. And I thought that was very mature. And I'm so glad they put that in there. You know what I'm saying? So people can see that Christians make mistakes, and it's okay for us to go back and apologize. It's necessary. Even sometimes if you don't know what you did wrong, it's okay. If you know that there's an ought against you, if you know somebody is feeling some type of way, you can go and apologize and at least begin the process of reconciliation, or open the door for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times we wait for people to come to us. Well, she the one got the problem with me. Well, if you know she got a problem with you, then you go to her. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong, even if you don't feel like you did anything wrong. We're supposed to be seeking peace, following peace with all men, and holiness.
As much as lieth within you, strive.
Yes.
Which means that it's not going to be easy.
Exactly.
Strive. You got to put a little effort into it.
A lot of striving is a lot of effort.
Strive to live peaceably with all men.
Yes.
And so it lets us know it won't always be easy.
Yeah.
Won't always be easy to try to get along with people, but we have a responsibility to do that.
Absolutely.
If we're going to profess, that we have Christ in our life. Now, if you're not, then do the heathen thing.
She said, "Do the heathen thing."
Do the heathen thing, but
what do the heathens do?
the heathens don't care. The heathens, it's all about
The
me.
heathens are the cancel culture.
Yeah, it's all about me.
You don't want to be bothering me. I'm not coming for you. Don't you come for me. That's what the heathens
But
do.
and that's totally not scripture. That's scary to me.
That's not.
Because we've gotten comfortable in that place.
Yeah.
And it's not scripture. It's not what God wants from us. He wants us.
But we call it protecting our peace.
But that's not scripture.
Tell us
either.
what the scriptures say. What the scriptures say?
As much as lieth within you, strive to live peaceably.
Strive
with all men.
Strive to live.
And he said, when you go to the altar, you gotta strive. It's not gonna some people.
It's not gonna be easy. In other words,
not gonna be easy to like them.
No,
and sometimes it ain't gonna be easy to love them, but we have to do that. That's an area we have to be honest with ourselves. I'm struggling with this.
Exactly. But you know what though? I've found and I've learned, and I'm still learning, that God honors your honesty.
Absolutely.
God honors your honesty. When you're, if you're struggling with that, just be honest about it. Don't try to, don't fake the funk like you can, like, oh, I can handle that. Or that don't bother me, or whatever the case. No, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Like the young man when he was praying, and he wasn't praying in tongues. He was praying like, okay, all right, Jesus, all right, God, okay, so yeah, I'm trying to forgive him. I really want to forgive him. And he was talking about his dad, but he was struggling with it, and he showed that struggle. And I thought that was amazing acting, for one, but I thought that was so poignant for him to be able to show how you can interact with God in prayer in English and have that kind of frustration, that kind of passion coming out as you're talking to God, and the transformation that comes with that, going right into a worship posture and then saying, God, help me. Because that's how he ended. Like, he started on his feet. He started on his feet talking, you know what I'm saying, and with all the emotion and saying what he needed to say about his father and asking God to bless his mother and all of that. And then he just ended. When he ended, it was like, God, I just need you. And he ended up on his knees. And man, I was through then. I was
crybaby.
I was toe up. What was your favorite part?
For that scene, I think when I realized that his mom had heard his prayer and it had tore her up, I felt her pain, but I didn't do a lot of sobbing, because this is my life. This is the life I've been living. When you got a prodigal out there, you live on your knees.
Yes.
Yes. And ask God to protect him and watch over him and keep him, and don't let and declaring the devil can't have him. So I get it.
You've been living this thing.
I've been living it. I'm actively living it, and believing God for that change. So it's I think that it was so many lessons in this, and I hope that it was encouraging. I know it was encouraging to me, because that attitude thing, boy, it'll make your flesh rise up.
Ooh, with the hat to the back. Ooh. And then, just the attitude, not hearing her
in your house.
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about you in my house.
She was like, "What?
Where I buy the food,
like, no, you gonna have to pay me some rent."
Yeah, I've been through. That's my
So, what
story.
was your favorite part?
I don't know that I had a favorite part. I just enjoyed the movie because I could woosah. I didn't have to hold my breath. Wondering if there's gonna cuss, if there's gonna have a sexual scene. It was just wholesome. I just enjoyed everything about it. I couldn't wait to see how he changed. I saw the beginnings of the change.
Yeah.
The thing that stuck with me is, and I think it's important for our men today to realize how you can help mothers that have a son, and they're by themselves. You can see how influential you can be as a mentor.
Yes.
The boys clubs,
how much
and all those,
is needed.
Yeah, it's so needed. I want to say that I want to thank Jerry Autry, he lives in Houston, who took time with my son, spent time with them. I want to thank Bishop Hugh Daniel Smith for the hours of personal one-on-one time that he gave to my son, to counsel him,
Yes.
and to try to get his life on track. At the end of the day, we have to be comfortable that we've done everything we can do.
Yeah.
And the rest is in the hands of the Lord.
Yeah.
And so, we just wait and let it play out. It's
As my
sometimes
mama say, I just turn you over.
yeah, that's what you have to
turn
do.
you over.
I remember if he wasn't home at night, I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
And then one day, the Lord spoke to me and said, well, why are both of us awake? If you've asked me to watch over him, why are you awake? And I said,
he don't sleep.
I said, well, that's a good point. Let me get on over here on this pillow. Let me
get over here.
Let me get over here on this pillow and go to sleep. And I started going to sleep when he was out. And did he have altercations? He absolutely did. But God brought him home.
Yeah.
I remember he came home one night and turned the light on in my room at why you turn the light on in my room? And he was saying how one of his friends had got beaten up and he was bloody, and he approached the guy. They had guns, and the one guy told the other guy, "Not him, man." Now they never seen him before. They said, "Not him, man." And he stood in my room 6-something with his hands up, and I said, "What part of God's grace don't you understand?" So we got to stay on our knees.
Yes.
Keep praying.
Absolutely.
Keep praying.
Well, one of my favorite parts was after, hey, Nikki Nicole, hey, Michelle Peters. One of my favorite parts was when they were telling Sister Clara, is it Clara? When they were telling Mother Clara, and she was saying, well, I don't think I've ever prayed for robots before. He said, but I did pray for my dishwasher. And it worked. It's working.
And it's working.
It's working. Oh my gosh. And so that's kind of segueing into that particular character. Her name is Karen Abercrombie. And the young lady that's playing that role of Mother Clara, or I think her name is Mother Clara. Is it Mother Clara? I don't know what her name is in the show. But anyway, that lady, the older lady with the prayer warrior, they call it a prayer warrior, right? So she was in War Room as well. It's the same character, right? So this is not like a sequel to the War Room. It's more like a spinoff. It's more like a spinoff to War Room because it was the same.
It just has the characters, and so I guess you could say it like they moved on, and her son is gone. So it could kind of, but it's not really a sequel. It's just the same characters. It's not a sequel. Yeah, it's just some of the same characters. And so the mother, the prayer warrior in the War Room is the same woman, the prayer warrior in this in the Forge, and she's a wonderful actress. Her name is Karen Abercrombie. She's an award-winning actress, singer, songwriter, master oral storyteller, writer, and producer. She's also an activist and an avid environmentalist. Born in Pennsylvania, she's a graduate of the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City. She has a long list of credits. She was actually in a Marvel movie. She was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So if you're a Marvel fan like me, you know exactly who she is in that movie. And she's been in a couple of TV shows, Saved by the Bell, Judging Amy, Vampire Diaries, Ally McBeal. She's been in a lot of the in a few of the Kendrick Brothers movies, The War Room, and then she had her own TV series on OWN for a little while. It was called Miss Virginia. So she is a wonderful actress, and she's not as old as she looks. They got a lot of makeup on her, making her look that old. Girls? Remember Golden Girls? Yeah. What was the one that carried her pocketbook and crooked her arm? They always had her looking real old.
Sophia.
Yeah, like Sophia.
Yes.
Sophia wasn't really an old lady.
Sophia wasn't really as old as she portrayed either. She was portrayed either. So, but this woman, I'm telling you, she is hilarious to me. Even in her serious role. Just her mannerisms and the way she delivers her character is naturally funny.
Well, she kind of reminds me of Sister Wright. Mother Wright. She kind of reminds me of Mother Wright.
She does?
She kind of reminds me of Mother Wright.
Okay. I appreciate that. I'm going to let her know. I'm going to tell Mother Wright.
Mother Wright.
I'm going to tell Mother Wright. Yes.
Let Mother Wright know. She kind of reminds me of Mother Wright.
Yeah, she cracked me up when the lady came in and she was like, is this a a hair salon or a prayer salon? And then she said, well, today it's a little bit of both. And she said, well, what do you need? And then she said, I need both. But she said, my edges need deliverance. I know I'm telling some parts of the movie, but I'm trying to tell you it was funny. Okay, it was funny. It had lots of good parts to it. It was funny, and I just really thought it was a great movie. And back to the plight of the single mother. So for this movie, what I thought she did as a single mom, number one, asking her son to pay rent to get him to, to own up, to take on some responsibility. That's difficult, especially with a 19-year-old.
I disagree.
I'm not saying it's difficult to do.
Mine started giving me $25 a month when he got his first job at 15.
The reason I say it's difficult is because you started at 19. Like you didn't set a precedent for that. You set a precedent for that early.
50 and $25 is no money. But the reason why I did that is because you can't live any place for free.
Right.
And he squawked, he squawked. But after what can I do with $25? It won't pay the light bill.
Child, no. So it won't pay no bill.
I just wanted you to understand you can't stay any place for free. So
you got a responsibility.
You got a responsibility. And that's why he had such a problem with it at 19.
Right.
You ain't paid no rent all this time.
And that's what I'm saying. Like that.
But he also didn't have a job.
Right.
So that makes a difference. Tim got his first job at 15. So we started rent at 15.
Ooh-wee.
And he's never been without a job. He's 37 now and he's never been without a job.
There you go. Well, amen to that. So there goes that theory. I'm just saying. Ian, watch out. Now you might want to wait till you get your first job. You might want to wait, but he playing football. So anyway, but really for single moms, I think that this movie says a lot. And it spoke to, like you were saying, it spoke to the struggle that single mothers have with raising young men. And
a girl, you're not gonna have no trouble. You can teach her.
You got trouble, but it ain't the same kind.
Exactly.
It's not the same kind
and
of
you
trouble.
can take her under your wing and teach her. A boy, it's a little bit different.
Well, a girl is gonna buck up sometimes too now.
But now I will say this: if you have a boy, feeding back to what you said about being candid, even with our conversation with God, you have to be very candid. You can't pity pat. You got to talk to them, in
that's true.
Real language.
Yeah. Yes, use strong words. Use strong vocabulary. Strong vocabulary. No, encouraging, seriously encouraging words.
Whatever you're saying, it's got to be
firm.
Firm and honest.
It's got to be firm. It's got to be honest. And you cannot waver. That's what I've learned. As a mom to a son, to a teenage son, you can't waver. Once you put your foot down on something, don't go back on that.
What if they get angry? What if they get angry at you?
They're gonna get angry.
So
they're gonna get angry. You know what I'm saying?
Do you back up because they get angry?
No, that you have. Once you put your foot down on it, you gotta follow through with that. Because if you don't, then they'll know that they can manipulate you, or they'll know that you might not keep your word when the time is, when they push a little harder. And I think, as for me, you have to stand firm on it. Now, if you're going to show grace, you got to show grace all the way through with a certain situation. You know what I'm saying? But unless circumstances deem something else. But once you put your foot down about something, you gotta leave it there. If you said the curfew is 10 o'clock, or the curfew is 11 o'clock, get off of the game at 11 o'clock, be off the game, period. Then be off the game at 11 o'clock. And if you go past that, then there has to be some type of consequence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think consequences, are necessary, not because you're trying to punish them, but because you're trying to teach them that every action that they choose has a consequence, whether it's a good one or a bad one.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
I agree.
Okay, you're looking at me funny.
No, I agree. Do you think one of the things that I did not see enough of, I would have liked to see more of, was communication between mother and son. Why do you think that's so challenging?
Between mother and son, or putting it in a movie?
No, not in the just period,
Just
because
period.
it wasn't in the movie. But I'm saying, so why do you think that's something that's challenging, the communication piece?
Well, I mean, I can speak to me. I I think the challenge for me comes in picking the right words, making sure that what you're getting ready to convey, you're saying it in a way that they're going to understand. Um, you want to speak the truth in love, being scripturally sound, but you also don't want to, especially teenagers, you don't want to put them in a position where they feel so judged that their self-esteem is damaged by whatever it is that you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to pick my words wisely so that I don't damage his self-esteem. I don't want to break him, but I do want him to understand that whatever his actions are or whatever his choices are, that there's consequences to those choices.
Mm-hmm.
And that if you make that the choice, you choose that consequence as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I think that the challenge comes in not breaking them. Not, if you don't, some people want their children to fear them. I don't want my son to fear me, but I do want him to respect me.
Mm-hmm.
And so fear and respect, there is a line there. And, when a child fears their parent, they're usually shameful. They usually have low self-esteem. They usually have issues in those areas. But when they respect them, they still get mad. But then they're still understanding that love is there, that the intent behind what they're saying or what they're doing is love.
So most of the time, when conversation was between the mother and son, it was frustration initially.
Yeah.
It was frustration. There wasn't opportunity to sit down calmly
Yeah.
and talk, because by the time the mother would say what she had to say, he was, off the
Right.
chain and ready to walk away.
Right.
So I think it boils down to finding times of quietness when you can approach and have conversation.
Yes.
Which you could communicate, because the way it went most of the time, it was just frustration.
Yeah.
Please pick this up, do this, do that,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so we don't get a lot of response,
Yeah.
positive response when it gets to a place of frustration.
And also building a relationship with them.
Yeah.
Not just always do this, do that. I'm the mama, I'm the adult, you're the child, but just regular conversation, being interested in what they're doing, being interested in what they're interested in, or, having conversations where they get to talk to you about whatever it is that they're interested in, what they're
Mm-hmm.
doing. If you take time, most of the time that I've learned, if you take time to listen to them when it's time for you to talk, they'll listen to you. But if you never ever listen to them, you never ever hear what they have to say, you never ever show interest in what it is that they're doing, then you barking orders at them all the time, it's just going to be that. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that if your child is living at home and it's a Christian home, I noticed that she would try to get him to go to church, and he
Mhm.
said, "Mom, I don't do that." Do you think that should be a condition of your being there, that they have to go, that they have to attend church?
Yes, I think that that should be an understanding at
Does fear and respect go hand in hand? Could it be that if they are fearful of you, that respect grows? The Bible says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, but the fear that it's talking about is respect, it's reverence.
Right.
So, in answer to the first part of your question, does fear and respect go hand in hand? It does. It does. But you can have one without the other. If it's a negative fear,
Mhm.
you're just responding to me because you're afraid that I'm going to knock your head off. the things we mothers say.
Yes, Nikki Jones. That's how many of us are raised. Do what I say, not what I do. My mother didn't care about my feelings. Yeah, my mother didn't care about my feelings either. I mean, and it was quite it was something that she said, on the regular, like, your tears don't move me, honey, because I would cry a river. I mean, cry a river, and I would cry without her even spanking me or anything. I would just be crying because I knew she was about to say something. And she'd be like, yeah, your tears don't move me, honey. And she would still say whatever it was that she needed to say. So, but what I was saying was, I forgot what I was saying before we started answering that question. What was your question?
No, we talked about fear, and I was asking you, do you think that if a grown child is still living at home, if a grown child is still living at home, as this young man was, do you think you can make it mandatory that they attend church?
Yes. After the age of 18, if they're paying rent, then I might say, a couple of times a month, but you need to show up. Like, you need to be there. That's just me. But if they're not paying rent, no, you got to go. Period. You got to go when I go, or at some point, or you got to be sitting here watching it with me if I'm at home watching it, or whatever the case may be.
I'm trying to see if anybody from the audience got any input on that. What you guys think? if a grown child is living at home, should it be mandatory that they attend church?
I think a compromise can be had if they're paying rent. If they're paying a portion, I think a compromise can be made. But if they're not paying anything, no, they gotta go. That's just me. As for me in my house, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, you got to go at least once a week. Now I'm not saying you got to go to all the other services, but at least once, yes, you got to go. Especially if you ain't paying nothing. That's just me. What you say? Oh, you ain't gonna say nothing.
Well, no,
you ain't gonna say. You don't want to say.
No, I thankfully I did not have an issue with that. So he went, so I never had to put my foot down one way or the other.
Yeah,
he just went. Thank God. That was one of the things one of the fights that I didn't have to have.
Yeah.
So, but it's challenging.
It is a challenge, though. It is a challenge. Tamara, I see you on here. What you say? Do your grandchildren? Did you make your grandchildren go to church all the time, or not, or no? I know you out there, so chime in. Michelle, I saw you on here too. Tamara, once they turn 21, I allow them to make the decisions. I still encourage them, but no, I don't force them.
Yeah, 21.
21.
That's definitely an adult.
When they stay with me, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would be challenged getting up, getting dressed, and leaving you in the bed sleep. I just kind of feel like when I get up, everybody in my house should be getting up. But 21, when they're 21, this young man was 19.
He was 19,
and he had just graduated from high school. So 21, that's kind of hard. Sandy Rose said, moving is always an option if you do not want to abide by my rules.
Yes, ma'am.
It's always an option.
It's always an option.
But I do think that it's important to establish rules. And at the point that you're establishing rules, there can be discussion about the rules. I had curfews. Yeah. But those were things that we discussed and he understood.
So what rules do you have for a grown child that is paying rent as opposed to a child that is not?
I'm gonna let you handle that one because the rent don't matter to me.
Okay, so if it's my house, I'm just saying, it's my house. Yes, you're paying rent, okay? And you're my child. I still feel like everybody needs to be in at a certain time. If I'm going to be in by a certain time, you got to be in by a certain time. Don't come in my house. Now, if you're going to stay out all night, then call me if you grown. Call me and say, or text me and say, I'm going, I'm staying at my friend's house tonight, whatever the case may be. If you grown, okay? But don't come in my house after a certain time. That's just me. Like, I don't even stay out that late. You know what I'm saying? Rent with the option to move. Yes, but and pay your own phone bill at least. Good Lord. Good God.
If they're grown,
they need to be paying their own. They need to be paying their own phone bill.
I would think so.
But all children don't. I know grown folks who got other grown folks paying their phone bill. I'm just saying.
That's not.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's
I'm
not
just saying.
responsible.
No, it's not.
I think that with regards to the movie, I think that it was a phenomenal movie. I got excited for the young man because his life got on track. But where I want to press even more is the need for men to help these single mothers with these young boys.
Yeah.
It's a need for it. For the longest, the only role models that our young boys had was Lil Wayne with his pants halfway down his butt. And now, that's all they know,
Yeah.
the rappers. And, we need men to step up to the plate. And I realize that it takes a lot. I realize, especially if you have a family, but there's a lot of, single men that could help these mothers.
Well, the single man got to get it together too, though.
Well,
I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm hoping that there's single ones that are together.
I'm not knocking it. I'm saying I do agree that that men need to play a bigger role when there are single women with male children. I do agree with that, which is why I really appreciated what Embassy have for the men in making and the women in making. Like, I appreciate that because they're exposing them to to different parts of the country, taking them on trips. They're having these classes, they're teaching them etiquette, all this kind of stuff that they're doing. That I appreciate. That's the kind of stuff that that I think that they should be doing. But you got to make sure that they're on the up and up too. I mean, the men themselves. I mean, you don't want just any man.
No, but I think
mentoring them.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want any man. But I'm saying when I say that, I'm assuming that these are men that are
vetted,
established and mature. Because even a family man, as we saw this man take this young boy and become a part of his family, there's space for that. And I just think that it's a different day. Miss Sen says too much.
I just saw that too. said too much coddling. Be coddling grown folks.
Too much coddling.
Grown people do grown things like living on their own. That's what she say.
But yeah, it's we have to create communication.
Yes.
We have to establish whatever rules we're going to have, and then it's a challenge because a lot of times they don't agree.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you agree. If I'm paying every bill in this house, these are the rules that we're going to set forth.
Yes.
So, overall, I was what the things that happened. Let's talk. We didn't talk about the forgiveness piece in this movie.
Oh, for the mentor.
No, the forgiveness piece for the man that killed his son.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because
man,
I just came from a meeting before I came here, and they were talking about the whole forgiveness piece and some of the things, how I break it down, because forgiveness is major. We have gotten to our culture now feels good, okay with holding grudges.
Yes,
we're okay with it.
Yes.
And it's just not biblical.
And they hold on to them forever.
Yeah, man.
Forever and ever and ever.
And it's not biblical. Plus, we forget the scripture that says he won't forgive us.
Exactly.
If we don't forgive others. What are we going to do with that scripture? What are we going to do with it?
Yeah.
And so the whole forgiveness thing, it was so important. I tried to examine myself. Lord, would I be able to love a person that had killed my son?
Yeah.
Drunk driver that
and disciple him, not just love him, not just forgive him, but include him in your life from that point on.
I want that man.
Include him in your life, make him part of your inner circle. They have been friends in the movie. They have been friends for over 15 years. And that was amazing. I mean, and he didn't mention it. You know what I'm saying?
He wasn't bringing it up.
He wasn't bringing it up. Throwing it back up in his face.
I love you, but you killed my son, but I still love you.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, we make that mistake so much. We make that mistake so much in terms of saying that we forgive a person, but still bringing it up. If you're still bringing it up and
it's so much fakery. It's just so much fakery.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I just would that.
That's a lot.
Tamara said,
I Cannot, Tamara, really. Don't put that comment up there.
Look, don't say that.
Right. Don't put that comment up there. Yeah, that was an amazing piece.
Yeah, that was when
that
he
was an
said
amazing
that, when
piece.
he talked to him and he told him who he was, I was like, wow, that's a
Yeah,
lot.
because
That's
then
a
you
lot.
remember it wasn't even him. He didn't even mention it.
No.
It was the wife that brought it up. That told,
Yeah.
he didn't even mention it. He just was, he was just going on with discipleship, and and that he never brought it up again. Love doesn't keep a record.
I think the rewards of mentoring are powerful also, because the way he stepped up as a mature person at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, he stepped up in front of all those who had been employed before him.
Yeah.
And he took leadership and
Yes.
he took charge.
Yes.
And
Yes.
everybody followed him
Yes.
because he was a leader.
Yes.
And so the benefits that you reap, when you pour into, I'm telling you, I can tell you that you do reap. When you pour into people,
Yes.
you do reap.
Yes.
It does come
Yes.
back to you.
God is not unrighteous to forget your labor of love. He is not
Yeah.
unrighteous. And
It is a process. Miss Sandy said, I don't think a lot of people know how to forgive. It's a process.
yeah,
But start the process. Start conversation.
right.
And as you said earlier, be honest. I
That's
really,
the part right
I really
there, I'm
don't like
telling
what
you.
you did. I don't like what you said. Da, da, da.
I
And
don't
then-
like you.
Yeah, I don't like you. And then let's work from there.
Yes, yes.
Because if I love you and you love me, there's no way that we're going to continue
Right.
to be.
At odds.
It's just no way.
Yeah.
And
I mean, if you're a Christian, if you're professing Christianity, you have to know that God is not going to forgive you of your trespasses, because you're not perfect. So you have done wrong. You will do wrong. You will offend. You will do something that will hurt someone else, whether intentionally or unintentionally. And if you want to be forgiven, you have to learn how to forgive. And no, it's not easy, but it is necessary. And it's not just necessary because we're Christians. It's necessary for your life. Like, for you to be able to move on, for you to be able to not have something that is controlling your every move, controlling what you do or don't do, because that's what unforgiveness does. It ultimately takes control of your life, and you start basing your actions and your movements and your plans based on the happenstance that you might run into this person here or run into that person there or end up having a conversation here or whatever the case may be. So you end up changing how you move, which changes who you are, because you don't want to confront this situation, or you don't want to forgive this person for what they've done. And it ultimately changes you. And so even if you're not a Christian, but you hold on to unforgiveness, it still doesn't benefit you. It just tears you up, and it changes who you are.
Well, it also affects you physically.
Yes, that too.
It affects you physically. So your high blood pressure, all
All
it
of
affects
that.
you. Tamara said, forgiving is not forgetting. But the way you know that you've forgiven a person is when you can remember the offense
And it don't hurt.
It no longer affects you.
It
You
don't
won't-
hurt.
you may not forget it. He may not forget that his son was killed by a drunk driver.
No.
But it no longer affects him.
Right.
Then you know that you have actually forgiven,
When
and you
it's,
can love.
When it's said or when it's spoken or when you see that person, you don't automatically go somewhere in your mind and you don't or you don't go the other way, or you don't all of a sudden, you're not all of a sudden bitter or in a bad mood or in a funk or whatever the case may be, or you're not all of a sudden irritated and frustrated and all that kind of stuff. So if that's the case, then you haven't finished the process of forgiveness. And just keep remembering that forgiveness is for you. It's for you to be free from holding on to something that will not benefit you. Because sometimes the person that you need to forgive, they done went on with their life, honey. They ain't losing no sleep.
Trying to tell you.
They're not losing no sleep. They done went on with their lives. They living happily ever after, living their best life. You know what I'm saying? They on cruises and trips, and you sitting at home and don't want to go nowhere, won't even go to church because you don't want to see them. You know what I'm saying, or whatever the case may be, and and your life is stifled and their life is going on, and it's hurting you. So, but anyway, so yeah, it was a huge lesson on forgiveness, and it was another good lesson on friendship as well, coming together. I mean, in any place. The hair salon becoming a prayer salon. I thought that was I've never seen that happen before. I've been prayed for by my doctor in the doctor's office. That's unusual.
Well, then you've never sat in Al Jean Hammond's chair.
Oh yeah, well no. Oh well, that's true.
Yeah, Al Jean Hammond, you're gonna have some prayer up in her chair.
Right, but everybody else around her wasn't praying. It was just her.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? It was everybody. It wasn't everybody else. It was just her. So, but in the movie, the whole prayer salon, they just ended up, having a prayer night, and I thought that was cool too. So, and even his friends.
Go see the Forge. If you haven't seen it, it's a nice movie. It's a feel good movie.
Anybody can go see it.
Yeah, it's a feel good movie.
Anybody can go see it. And if you're not busy, there's several other movies that you can probably pull up on Tubi, or I don't know, wherever all the other movies are. They have The Forge, Overcomer, Life Mark, Show Me the Father, War Room, Courageous, Fireproof was the other one I liked that I saw. Facing the Giants, I think, is also a good movie. I think I heard about that one. And Flywheel. So they have a lot of movies, the Kendrick brothers. So if you like The Forge, you're probably and you like The War Room, you'll probably like the other movies by them as well. So thank you for joining us tonight. I didn't realize we was kind of over already. Hey, Regina, it's been real and fun. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Go see The Forge. It's a good movie. You can take anybody to go see it with you. Absolutely anybody. We love you, Detroit. Good night.
This is WVTC Detroit, your award-winning gospel internet radio station. We're bringing you the best in gospel music, live shows, and inspiring interviews. Like and share our page on Facebook and YouTube. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay connected. Your support helps us spread positivity and encouragement throughout the community. So whether you download our WVTC app, visit our website at WVTCDetroit.com, or join us on Facebook or YouTube, you will stay connected and entertained. Join our WVTC Detroit listener family today and tell your friends about us. Together, we can make a difference. WVTC Detroit, where gospel meets the community.
Neighborhood beautification. That's very important to Detroit. It's very important to block clubs, organizations, and people who live in the community. We got started with 2 lots and a vision of a treehouse center. Because if we can take these blighted lots, Detroit give us grants to be able to do something with them that the community wants, it's a plus, because we're bringing our neighborhoods back to where we want them to be, where they should be. All because I live in Detroit.
You've been listening to Soulful Inspiration. We're so glad you hung out with us today. We're here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on WVTC Detroit. If you'd like to partner with us or sponsor a show with your business, send us an email at tntsoulllc@gmail.com, or you can call us at 313-570-8280. I'm your girl, Nikki Jones.
The views and opinions expressed on the previous broadcast are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of WVTC Radio Detroit, its advertisers, or affiliates.
Detroit, did you know barriers to healthcare persist for Black women in Michigan, regardless of income or education? Each year, too many families face the tragedy of preventable maternal deaths. At Michigan Advancing Healthy Births Plan, the mission is clear: to improve birth outcomes for all families, achieve healthier pregnancies, and reduce maternal deaths. By listening to Michigan families and addressing racial and social inequities, we can work towards zero preventable deaths and zero health disparities. Join us in this vital cause. Let's work together to give our future a healthy arrival. WVTC Detroit's Project Healthy Arrival is made possible with grant funding from Southeast Michigan Perinatal Quality Improvement Coalition, Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, and United Way for Southeast Michigan. Go to your Apple or Google Play Store and download the WVTC Gospel Radio app today. You can also say, Alexa, play WVTC Radio Skills.
Would you like to play WVTC Radio Network?
Absolutely. Download it today.
You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit, and we're flowing in the Spirit.